Welcome in. We are starting with breaking news. We're talking about the weather. We've been talking about it all week, but our first winter weather of the season is here. And here's a live look for you right now of radar. Depending on where you live, you might see some rain, freezing rain, and maybe even some sleet.
We have had crews spread out all across the area. Right now, Matt Gregory and Randy Ayala, and both in northern Virginia. Jess Arnold is in northern Montgomery County, and Nicole D'Antonio is in our newsroom tracking school delays and closures, and there are quite a lot of those this morning.
That's right, and this is, of course, a big morning for dicey driving conditions. Michelle Logan has been very busy staying on top of the problem spots, but right now, let's get right to Chester. Chester, where is that freeze line?
Looks like it's set up right on top of here in Washington, just to the north and west of the Beltway. Andy and Allison, let's get you out the door here with a look at the radar. So if you're streaming us live here on WUSA 9 Plus, this is the current radar here, 7:08 in the morning, and you can see rain in DC, but you go north and west, upper Montgomery County and a good chunk of Loudoun County starting to see some freezing rain. Now, this is a critical time, obviously the heart of the morning commute. Over the next hour or so, we will see light icing in these areas close to DC. So Frederick County, especially from Frederick and south right on through Brunswick and down through Montgomery County, light icing expected. Same with Loudoun County and perhaps upper Fauquier County and Madison County there in Virginia. Now, upper parts of Frederick County up to the Thurmont area, significant icing is expected. So you've been placed in the ice storm warning now, and Washington County also added to the ice storm warning over the last hour and a half in that I-81 corridor. So let's get a little closer look here at what's happening, and you can see the view to the west has been all ice here from Oakland along 68. If you're driving out towards Morgantown, treacherous travel there on Interstate 68, past Frostburg and Cumberland this morning, and 68 all the way up to the Hagerstown area, where it converts over to I-70, likely to be a little dicey this morning. Same with the Kaiser and Romney areas early this morning. Cross Junction down to Winchester, some light icing has been reported out here in around Martinsburg and Charlestown as well. And of course, Hagerstown, the aforementioned, where we are seeing some light icing as well. And some icing again up through Frederick and over to Leesburg. Maybe some out here out towards Front Royal. We've seen some reports come out of that area of more than 1/10 of an inch of ice. Now you get into DC and it has been all rain with little to no ice, which is fantastic news for the heart of the metro. And then if you're watching us from Charles County, Stafford County, and anywhere south from there through southern Maryland and over to Fredericksburg, you're all rain today. You're not going to see any ice at all, so no concerns there. The winter weather advisory continues for now in around that I-95 corridor and west to the Blue Ridge. Once you get to the Blue Ridge and farther west, it is an ice storm warning where we could see upwards of 1/2 inch of ice in a few spots, while many areas a quarter inch to about 1/3 of an inch of accumulating freezing rain. This is a dangerous situation out here in West Virginia, Western Maryland, and along the Shenandoah Valley, all the way south to Harrisonburg. I just don't recommend traveling right now along that I-81 corridor or Interstate 68 or Route 50 west as well. All right, quick look at the ice accumulations for the rest of this day. Another 1/10 of an inch or so in places like Winchester, Purcellville, and out towards Frederick, maybe another 6/100ths of an inch. We'll come back and break this down using our Futurecast, and Caitlin McGrath will also join me in a couple of minutes. Here's a live look at the roads with Michelle.
All right, Chester, starting off with a live look of the Beltway out in Alexandria. This is right near the Eisenhower Avenue connector. Just look at how much water is being picked up as cars drive by. This is a morning you don't want to be in a hurry. Drive carefully, especially on bridges and overpasses, as they're more likely to freeze over or have icy conditions out there. Now take a wide view of our maps. Not seeing the usual volume delays we see because a lot of people are staying home and off the roadways, but be aware 95 drivers in Virginia, there are a lot of little crashes with the shoulder blocked. The only one that's really been causing any delay this morning is 95 north in Dale City near Dale Boulevard. Just the right shoulder is now blocked and it looks like that jam has cleared. Let's go on over to Front Royal, Virginia. There's a closure of Route 758. This is between Sycamore Road and Mine Mountain Road just because of the conditions out there. And I do want to get to your drive times. 395 north, not too bad. The Beltway to the 14th Street Bridge right now 11 minutes. Also, Matt Gregory is riding around now in Eco 9, keeping an eye on the conditions. Hey, Matt, where are you and what exactly are you seeing?
Hey, Michelle. So right now we're on the Dulles Tollway headed east. So let's give you a look at the road here. We're just past Reston on our way towards Tyson, so we're going to give you an idea of what the roads look like. You hear Chester talking about it. We have seen, because we've been out to Winchester, areas where we were seeing a little bit of freezing rain and sleet, but for the most part, as we're closer in to 495 and the Beltway, this is what you're seeing. Let's give you a look from above as well. It's a roadway that's inundated with rain, right? I mean, it's been raining now for several hours. There's water on the roads. There's also water off to the sides. At the same time, you're dealing with those lower temperatures, which can create slick conditions. Now, as we get back to the driver's view right there, you can see that, you know, while it's not an icy condition, that doesn't mean it's not difficult or treacherous. This is still a reason why we're seeing that major accident on 495, because even in these conditions, it's harder to brake, harder to slow down, and you still have the potential on all sorts of overpasses, bridges, and, you know, on-ramps, excuse me, to see the icing conditions happen there. So, and look at this, as soon as someone gets in front of you, you must have seen this many times before, whenever someone gets in front of you, you get that like blowback of the rainwater coming off their tires back, and it further obscures vision. So it's not an easy commute by any stretch. It's something that I'm sure many of us are used to seeing, but it's just a reminder, because we do have this winter weather in the area, that if ever there was a day to not have to go into work, it'd be today. And if ever there was a day that you didn't need to drive and kind of break your neck to get into work, this would be the day. Take your time, go slow. There's a lot of water on the road, which is already making it slick, and then those colder conditions. A couple other things just to note as I switch back to the driver view. When we went out further west, past Purcellville and on our way to Winchester, we did see pockets of fog there. And that kind of made vision a little bit more difficult. You've got all sorts of things against you this morning if you're driving, so it's best to just kind of take it easy and think about, you know, not only your own driving actions, but those around you. Drive defensively, as they would say in driver's ed. But, you know, like I said, despite the fact that it may not be right here in this area of freezing rain, these conditions are still bad for driving. It's something to keep an eye out for, and it's something to certainly keep in mind. You can see we're near the Leesburg exit, so where you turn off to go back to Leesburg. So throughout the rest of the morning, if you're tuning in with us, because this is the heart of the commute, we're going to head in towards 495, then go back up 267. We just want to give you the best idea of really what the commute looks like for you, should you be choosing to go out this morning, or should you have to go to work, and how, you know, some of those things we want to remind you, and everyone always does, but it never hurts to say again, drive carefully, drive safely, drive slowly. Back to you guys.
Good advice, Matt. Thank you. Northern Montgomery County is also an area that we are seeing some slick conditions.
Jess Arnold is live for us in Clarksburg. And Jess, we've been checking with you all morning. What are you seeing right now?
A heavy amount of rain, but it just continues to pour down. You can see we still have these icicles on this tree that we've been monitoring. We noticed them just a couple of hours ago. They are getting longer. This ice has just coated these branches, so it clearly is getting a bit slicker out there. We can see 270 behind us here, and more cars have been entering the roadways here, which of course means take it slow. Make sure you have enough distance between you and the car in front of you. Now, in terms of the slickness on the roadways, it still appears to just be water if we're looking at that splash come back from those tires on the cars that are driving by here on 270. But the Maryland Department of Transportation, Montgomery County, they have been putting down salt brine before this whole weather event came in, trying to prevent that water from freezing over. They are standing by, checking the forecast, checking to see where any problem spots are being reported so they can go out and treat with salt if need be, because of course some of that brine will have been washed away from this precipitation starting as rain. Again, it is freezing over, at least on these tree branches here in Clarksburg. Now, one of the concerns is going to be that water pooling on these roadways. As we were talking about, you could see that splashing off of those tires back there. We're seeing some in the parking lot here. We're parked at the Clarksburg Premium Outlets, and you're starting to see it accumulate, see it start to have a flow. So make sure you're careful when you're out there driving, because again, besides this water turning into ice on the roadways potentially, it also just can be standing water that can also be dangerous to drive in. So especially when it's not quite light out, make sure you're driving safely, taking it a bit more slowly. But it's still raining out here, and I'm jealous of Matt's assignment inside of Eco 9 right now, because it is nasty. Do not go outside if you don't need to.
All right, so sorry. Try to get, I know you hate when anchors say this, but try to get warm and dry a little bit. Okay, I said it. All right. It is 7:16. We have a number of school delays and a few closures this morning, too. Nicole D'Antonio is in the newsroom with the very latest list.
Hey there. Yeah, and you know the team here has been working really hard overnight, keeping a close eye on these school districts. A big update here just in the last 30 minutes. Loudoun County, we now know they were originally going on a 2-hour delay. They are now closed. They're going to make a decision later about after school activities. But I want to take you over to the board to get a better look at the rest of the school closings and delays here. So some of the biggest ones that we are following: Fairfax County, Loudoun County, they're both on a 2-hour delay. In addition to Alexandria City Schools and Arlington County, again, they are both delayed this morning. Now, one thing I want to point out here, Prince William County, they are code orange. What that means is while the buildings are closed, they're saying any students with laptops and tablets, they can work on those assignments remotely. We know Fauquier County is closed. Frederick County also closed this for today. On the Maryland side, Frederick County, again, Montgomery County and Prince George's County, they are all running on a 2-hour delay today. We also know Anne Arundel County, that news just came in this morning. They are also running on a 2-hour delay today. Now, we are going to continue to keep a close eye on this. Another update I do want to mention, George Mason University, we did check in with them this morning. They have their big winter commencement. They're going to be operating on time, and the classes will be running on time as well. We also know American University, they're also opening on time. But again, as these updates continue to roll in, we will continue to keep a close eye on all of this. You can also follow updates on our website, WSA9.com, and our free WSA9 app. And we will continue to keep a close eye on all of these closings and delays as they continue to come in. Allison?
Alrighty, Howard University also open on time. Let's check back in with Chester, see what's going on right now.
Yeah, quick look at that forecast here. That one thing we're watching continues to be this ice and rain event. The latest radar imagery here, 718. You can see we're getting those downpours in the metro, and it's heavy at times. Some light icing continuing upper Montgomery, Loudoun, and Frederick County at this time. We'll come back and talk more about this throughout the morning here on WUSA 9+. We'll send over to Michelle. She's got some slowdowns in Maryland.
Yeah, Chester, my one thing traffic takes us to Anne Arundel County, where we have a road closure in Lothian. So we're talking about Route 2, Solomon's Island Road. The crash is right near 408 Marlborough Road. Delays are building in both directions a bit, so drive carefully there and across the DMV this morning. Al?
Our team coverage on this slick morning commute continues now.
Randy Ayala is live in Loudoun County, Virginia. Randy, you've been out there all morning long. What are you seeing now?
Yeah, hey, good morning, guys. We're in Lovettsville right now. We're starting to see that ice accumulate. And of course, the rain's still coming down pretty steadily here. Take a look at this tree behind me. You can see the ice, tiny little icicles hanging from the branches. I'm seeing that all over the area here, as well as ice coming off of stop signs too. I'll say about maybe 40 minutes ago or so, I saw a truck come by putting out that salt brine mixture. I want folks at home to just be aware of the roads this morning. If you do have to get out, there are going to be some slick spots out there. You want to take it slow. I know you keep hearing us repeat it over and over again, but it's really, really important. You know, every time we cover something like this, we see accidents, we see crashes, and we just want folks to be aware there. I'm standing in a parking lot right now, so I'm starting to see, water collect. We're seeing the puddles pooling going on the sides of the roads, backsplash coming off of the tires too, so you don't want to drive too close to the person in front of you. Make sure you leave lots of extra space. And if you do have to get out, if you've got to go to work, you got to drop the kids off, just be cautious when you're out on the roads. There are going to be some slick spots out there, so we'll continue monitoring this. I've been checking VDOT's Twitter page, and they are, wanting folks to know if you can stay home, kind of ride this out at home. That's going to be your best bet, your safest bet. That's our ultimate goal. We would just want you guys to stay safe. So we've been out here all morning. We'll continue to be out here to monitor those conditions. For now, reporting live in Lovettsville, Virginia, I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Yes, everybody stay safe, and that includes you, Randy Ayala. Thank you so much for the latest out there in Lovettsville. Okay, Chester, looks like it's really still coming down where Randy is.
Yeah, the rain is going to be heavy all day long. It's just depending on what your temperature is at that time, because a lot of it is freezing upon contact with the ground. Again, this Interstate 81 corridor, we're seeing that ice up and down those counties there, from Washington County in Maryland, south to Shenandoah County in Virginia. Also, you all out here in far western Maryland and across West Virginia, all of our communities seeing icing at this time. And you saw where Randy is. She's not far from the Brunswick area there, north of Leesburg, south of Brunswick there in Virginia, where you saw some icing out there. Frederick County, Thurmont getting a decent amount of ice, some icing being reported up at the Camp David area. Let us know what you're seeing out there. You can tag us on social media, hashtag WUSA9 weather as well. We'd love to see those pictures if you can get out there safely. Now in D.C., it's been rain, and with temperatures just above freezing, it hasn't been freezing upon contact with the ground. So it's been all liquid, which means the roads are slick and wet, but not icy, and that is key. We'll stay all rain here, Anne Arundel, Prince George's County, southern Maryland, and down through Fredericksburg as well. Much of Prince William County and over to Stafford County as well. Futurecast does depict that rain ice line moving farther west. So by 8, 9 o'clock, we are all liquid precipitation, no more freezing in the area. And look at this. This is some heavy rain showing up on our in-house Futurecast. We call this the graph model. Even the Shenandoah Valley, it gets heavy, so that'll preclude any accumulating ice. As temperatures go above freezing, we'll melt all that ice here this afternoon off to the west. Rain lingers through the evening hours here in the metro. Still quite heavy through the evening commute, and then it starts to ease to showers late in the evening. Look at our temp, all the way up to 50. Any icing will be all done at this point, and everything will be melting. Tomorrow morning, dry skies. Highs in the 40s tomorrow with a little bit of sunshine. Okay, let's send it over to Caitlin. She's going to talk about some of the ice we're seeing out there.
Yeah, and Chester, some of these totals are quite significant. You know, whenever we talk about a 1/4 inch of ice up to a 1/2 inch of ice, that's when we know the totals really start to climb. And we have seen over a 1/4 inch in Grantsville, Maryland. Most of the significant ice accumulation has been in far western Maryland, West Virginia's places we've been telling you about all morning, where we've seen that prolonged period of freezing rain. McHenry, Maryland, a 1/4 inch. Similar totals in Oakland, Mount Snow, West Virginia, also a 1/4 inch of ice so far, and we'll continue to see a little bit more freezing rain continue to accumulate. Kaiser, West Virginia, a couple 1/10 of an inch. Clarksburg, where we've been checking in with Jess Arnold throughout the morning, seeing some minor ice accumulation. And even though we say minor, it really doesn't take much to cause really dangerous road and walking conditions, sidewalks, driveways. They all become a sheet of ice with just a little bit of accumulation. We've seen that all the way down into Winchester, Lovettsville, down into Charlottesville, some minor accumulation. I have a cousin in Front Royal. She said she's seeing some freezing rain start to pile on as well. So let's take a look at what that really means in terms of impact. So anytime you get a 1/10 of an inch of ice, it's really disruptive. Slick roads, slick sidewalks. Once we get closer to a 1/4 inch, that's when you start to see tree branches, power lines weighed down. And once you get up to a 1/2 inch, that's when we start to see some more widespread power issues. Chester?
Yeah, it gets really tricky at that point. So let's talk about the rain real quick, because that is going to be the other side of this story. We're going to pick up another inch to nearly 2 inches of rain between now and this evening. So get ready for some heavy downpours through the afternoon. We're going to be on WUSA9.com and plus throughout the rest of this morning, and we'll be on air again at 9 o'clock during Great Day Washington. For now, I'll send it back to you too.
Chester, thank you. And thank you for joining us here
For this special on WUSA 9 Live. We appreciate it. Stick with us all through the day.